So I now want to share with you our multi-campus philosophy of ministry. Multi-campus ministry has really taken off over the last 10 years or so all across the country and across the world. And it's really a way for churches to maximize what God is doing in their context so that they can reach even more people. I want to remind you again of our mission statement to give everyone on Long Island multiple opportunities to hear and respond to Jesus. That's the mission. And so we're going to do that through being a kingdom church and helping other churches. But I've come to really see and believe that what God is doing at Centerpoint is unique. The DNA of our church is unique. And when we take that DNA from one location, which we originally did from Massapequa, and then brought it over to our next campus, Bayshore, we were able to have such success with reaching Bayshore in the surrounding area, even more than when you often plant a church. A lot of times when we start a campus, it would take a church plant almost 5 years to get to the point where we are day one, which means a greater kingdom impact. And so I'm such a big believer in multi-campus. I don't know how many campuses God's gonna call us to, but we often use the term Brooklyn to Montauk. And as God opens the doors and we raise up pastors and we have new opportunities, we're gonna walk through those to try to give everyone on Long Island those opportunities to hear who Jesus is. And so let me say, when it comes to multi-campus, we really see ourselves, and it's so important, as one church in multiple locations. We're not a bunch of churches or a bunch of congregations. We are one church, which means no matter what campus you go to, you're part of the same church. I get to be the lead pastor across our church collectively. We have one elder board over all of our church. And the only difference, like you may have different services in a campus, we also just have different locations with different services. But again, it comes back to being one church. So whichever campus you're at Centerpoint. You're home, you're part of the family. And one of the reasons we did this back to the mission is because we knew that trying to bring everyone to one location was kind of foolish because one, we can't afford a building that big on Long Island. I do believe there's gonna be some other facilities down the road, but that would be pretty difficult to invest in one massive facility. Not to mention, a lot of people wouldn't even like to have a massive facility. The second is that even though people that know Jesus may be willing to drive to a church that they really connect to, their friends probably won't. They're so used to more of a parish model of church where the church is in their community. And so we want to make sure that with all of our people across Long Island, that they have a campus near them where they can start bringing their local network of people, their friends and their neighbors to that campus. And it was really out of this desire that birthed us going multi-campus. Multi-campus also allows for us to use the resources and the knowledge that we have as a larger church to give each campus the best ability possible, even for their size. What we can do in a campus of 200, because we have an entire network of pastors and leaders and staff, is more than a church of 200 could ever hope to accomplish. And so we get to leverage resources and allows all of our campuses to do things far better, more efficient, and more godly than they could have without being part of Centerpoint. When it comes to this idea of our campuses, we break down kind of two words, central and local. And so we have things that happen centrally, that happen across all of our campuses, no matter where they are. Yet we also do things that we just call local, things that we allow for each campus to maybe tweak a little different, predominantly to reach that campus that they find themselves in. And so, for example, our Sundays are central. No matter what campus you go to, the worship is going to sound the same. The song selection is going to be the same. The teaching, even though when it's live, it may have a little different spin based on whoever's teaching, the direction of each message in each series is going to be the same. We try to have the same look and vibe on a Sunday across all of our campuses. So you can go to any of them and you walk in and you feel like, yes, I am home, I'm at Centerpoint. But when it comes to building up the local campus, the collective body that is there, and when it comes to trying to reach the community around the campus, we know that there may be some unique opportunities that are present there. So I empower the local campus pastors to figure out, how do I reach this community? How do I reach Long Beach, which is different than Kings Park, which is different than Bayshore, which is different than Massapequa. There's different events and there's different type of people, and we want to be sensitive to that. And so we empower the campus pastors to figure out how do we build the community within the campus and reach the community around the campus. Those are local decisions. The same values are there that go across all of them, but the way of approaching it can just look different. And so you'll see some distinctions when it comes to that regarding the campuses. Now, when it comes to teaching, what we do is we have a mix of broadcast and live teaching. And this is a very intentional thing that we do at Centerpoint. The broadcast, which is often myself, but not always, gives me an opportunity as the lead pastor of Centerpoint to speak to all of our church, to make sure there's common language and vision and teaching that is going out. That allows to keep us as one church. But I also want to make sure that we have a lot of local teaching, live teaching, often from our campus pastors, which gives them a voice in the campus, continues to help them to grow as a teacher, and allows for you to hear their heart and have that relational connection. I believe it's important to have both as a multi-campus church, and I believe we have a really good balance with that. Sometimes of the year there may be more broadcast, and other times of the year there may be less. There's a whole thinking behind it when we do what we do, but I want you to know that we always try throughout the year to strive to have this good balance of this broadcast teaching and live teaching. And even again, when we do live teaching, all of our pastors are using the same main text and the same main direction. It's kind of like painting. I give all of our pastors the same tools to paint with. It's gonna be the same watercolors, but then they get to paint in their style with their image and their unique gifting that God has given them. And as we do this as one church across Long Island, we get to give everyone on Long Island those multiple opportunities. There's a beautiful synergy that has happened at Centerpoint through multi-campus, and it's allowed for all of our campuses to continue to rise and reach more people for Jesus. I love being the pastor of a multi-campus church.